Episode 4 of The Pastor's Wife and the Choir Master. It had been 6 years since Grace last stepped foot in Redeemed Fountain of Grace Church. 6 years since her quiet exit as First Lady, the divorce papers, and the slow erasure of her name from the church's history. Life in Abeokuta had been steady, almost peaceful. Her catering business fed weddings and birthdays, and she spent her evenings in a small rented apartment, listening to the hum of the neighborhood generator. She didn't think much about Agbita anymore until the call came. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and follow. Grace, it's Sister Ruth from the Old Women's Fellowship, the voice on the phone said. She froze. It had been years since anyone from Agbita called her. It's Pastor Daniel, Ruth continued. His mother passed. The funeral will be next Saturday in Ibadan. I thought you might want to know. Grace sat for a long time after the call, her tea growing cold. She didn't owe Daniel anything. And yet, something in her heart told her she couldn't just ignore it. Before we continue, please like, comment, share and follow. The funeral was held at a large Anglican church in Ibadan. The choir sang slow hymns, their voices echoing through the tall, arched ceilings. Grace slipped into the back row, dressed in a plain black dress, her headscarf pulled low. She saw him when he stood to give the eulogy. Daniel looked older, a sprinkle of gray in his beard, deeper lines in his forehead, but his voice still carried that quiet strength. He spoke of his mother's faith, her sacrifices, and her prayers that kept him on his feet even in the darkest times. When his eyes swept the crowd, they lingered. Just for a moment. On her. Please click on the follow button before we continue. After the burial, mourners gathered under a canopy for refreshments. Grace kept her distance, watching Daniel greet old church members. But eventually, he walked over. You came, he said simply. I heard. And I thought it was right, she replied. For a moment, they stood in silence, the noise of small talk and clinking plates filling the air around them. You look well, he said at last. So do you, she replied, though she could see the weight in his eyes. Please, like, comment, share and follow me for more stories. I never got to say, thank you, Daniel began, for the years you stood by me, before, he trailed off. Grace shook her head. Daniel, you don't owe me gratitude. If anything, I owe you an apology that will never feel enough. He gave a small, sad smile. I forgave you a long time ago, Grace. But forgiveness doesn't always mean things go back the way they were. Her eyes stung. I know. And I stopped wishing for that years ago. Please click on the follow button before we continue. The sun was setting when Grace decided to leave. Daniel walked her to her car. They stood there for a moment, both knowing this might be the last time. Grace, he said, whatever happened between us, I pray you find peace. I have, she said softly. I just hope you have too. He didn't answer immediately. Then he stepped back, nodding once. Safe journey. She drove away without looking back in the mirror. But in her chest, she carried a strange warmth, not love, not longing, but a quiet release. Epilogue. 2 months later, Grace heard through mutual friends that Daniel had taken a sabbatical from ministry to travel abroad for theological studies. She didn't reach out, and he didn't write. They became two people with shared history but separate futures, a chapter neither of them could erase, but both had finally learned to close. And when she occasionally heard Amazing Grace on the radio, she no longer thought of Emma, or the scandal, or even the shame. She thought of Daniel, the man she had loved, lost, and finally, truly let go. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share and follow me for more stories. Bye for now.